Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back. Yeah, you can follow us on X, YouTube, at digperspectives.com. You can also join us in the Freedom Zone today, where we're going to talk about a deep state flare-up. Exposed they are, ladies and gentlemen. You'll want to be in there. You could join us for next to nothing. Just click that join button under any title or join us in Patreon in the description box. And by the way, 13 days and counting. We're 2 weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. This is remarkable. I'm getting so excited. I hope you get your ticket, but take a listen to what you're going to miss if you don't.
Hi, I'm Bree Teresi. I'm a model and a crypto enthusiast. The excitement is building. XRP Las Vegas 2025 is almost here. Learn more about the evolution of finance and Web3 from top industry leaders. I have my ticket. Do you have yours?
Now's the time to get your ticket at XRPLasVegas.com and check out the conference agenda. Also, builders and developers will have a shot at $25,000 in prize money with the best Web3 project ideas in a Shark Tank-like pitch.
Let's go, XRP community. Lock in.
There you go. Get your tickets at XRPLasVegas.com. Again, not a joke. Dangerously close to selling out the VIP ticket. And you get preferential seating around the stage. You get a VIP area. You get special food. You get open bar. You get to meet a lot of the speakers because they hang out in the VIP area. You know, just so you know, make sure you get your ticket. And real quick, open your free account at Caleb and Brown. Why? I'm seeing more hacks and attempted thefts and kidnappings in the last month and a half than I've seen in the last 8 years. And I tell you something, I've never felt safer than a platform like Caleb and Brown because they have institutional grade custody. We've checked it out, got the message and all of that. Fire blocks, it's incredible what they have. Multi-layers of protection of security and human customer service. So if you have any question about whether something happened to your account, you literally can call a human being and talk to them. You can't do that anywhere else. Start getting the best night's sleep you've ever had in your life. Go to xrpwealth589.com and get signed up with your free account today. Yes, let's get into it. Paying with Bitcoin is officially live at the Steak and Shake. I just want to know if the fries were cold. I'm only kidding. I don't think they were. It seems like they got it working on this app right here. So good for them. Listen, I want to see this happen. I want to see this broad acceptance all around the world of cryptocurrency being used in many different ways, just like this. It is happening, and it's exciting for me no matter who it is doing it. So this is Ari Redbird right here, and I want you to hear what he had to say because we know consensus is going on right now. Let's take a listen to his thoughts of where things have come from where they come from to where they are today.
2.5 years ago, Maxine Waters was the chair. And the first question she asked me was, do we need stablecoin legislation? Can we get this done? And I said, yes. I mean, like, we need this. It should have happened 2.5 years ago. It's easy. Every regulator in the world globally has clear rules of the road that are very similar to what we will ultimately have in a combined stablecoin bill in the U.S. Congress. So I think that needs to happen. And then let's work on market structure.
There you have it. Yeah, and we're going to get that done too. I really do believe that. More on that in the next video, but we got to tackle some stuff that's happening in the court case for Ripple here in a second. But let's listen to this because the optimism around getting the legislation done is really, really coming together, regardless of the stonewalling. Listen, just very quickly, I went over this about how the Dems worked on this in the committee, made almost 80 revisions to the legislation, passed it out of committee, which normally tells the Senate or the House when they pass out of committee, it's ready for a floor vote and will have a chance to pass. Because That's the reason for committees, so they don't waste time introducing bills that won't ever have a chance to see the light of day. So take a listen to this quick clip here.
I remain very optimistic. I think that our colleagues on the Hill on both sides of the aisle understand how important stablecoin legislation is for the American people.
We've seen our volume definitely increase in crypto, and I think it's a combination of both the interest of our customer being present, but also the regulatory clarity that is starting to appear is making people a bit more excited about the space.
What I think you're seeing here at this conference is a recognition of crypto's resilience, that even in the face of unprecedented, intense political pressure in the United States and all over the world, crypto has endured.
It really has. There's no question about that. And it's about to take off even further. Let's listen further to Bo Hines talk about how extremely optimistic he is.
I'm still extremely optimistic about where things are. I think we're going to deliver on the president's wishes to get both stablecoin legislation and market structure legislation on his desk before August recess. You know, our colleagues on Capitol Hill are working extremely hard. Senator Hagerty, Senator Lummis, and across the aisle, Senator Gillibrand, who wants to see this thing get home. You know,
who voted no on the actual bill once it came out of committee. Political posturing.
I would say that they're negotiating in good faith. In good faith, they're making a ton of progress as it relates to this bill. I think it's going to find its way onto the president's desk here in short order, and we're going to continue to usher that along.
Wonderful news. I love hearing that. And I love hearing that because we have some stuff that has to be dealt with in procedural matters to resolve the Ripple case. Judge Torres denies a motion for indicative ruling in the SEC versus Ripple case. The Ripple's chief legal officer says they're working with the SEC to resolve and revisit the issue together. Let's drill down further into this so we understand completely. This is from James Filan. Shout out to Jim. Judge Torres has denied the party's motion for an indicative ruling. If jurisdictions were restored to this court, the court would deny the party's motion as procedurally improper. So, let's understand that even further. Stuart Alderati says, nothing in today's order changes Ripple's wins. XRP is not a security, etc. This is about procedural concerns with the dismissal of Ripple's cross appeal. Ripple and the SEC are fully in agreement to resolve this case and will revisit the issue with the court together. So I think that clears things up here, but I love this breakdown too from John Deaton. Shout out to the field general. He's going to be on stage at XRP Las Vegas. Get your tickets.
What I hope's not at play here is political motivation. You know, I've always said that Judge Torres was good and all of that, and I think she handled the case fine. But, you know, I hope that crypto, the new administration, the Trump and the meme coin, and she's not drawing a line here where she thinks crypto's bad and she's taking a stand. Just because the SEC changed doesn't mean I'm going to change my ruling. I hope she doesn't dig her heels in that way. But what can we expect? I think we're going to have to see a brief. And I got to tell you, I think the SEC is going to have to eat crow. I think they're going to have to fall on their sword in this joint brief by saying that this case was misguided. I think they got to cite that Congress is working on bills, that digital assets are akin to commodities, and they've come to that decision that ETH, XRP, Solana, Bitcoin, all of these cryptos are in essence more like commodities and should not be governed. I think that they need to say, look, there's no victim here for Ripple. Ripple can sell to a bank, Bank of America, right? They can sell to a hedge fund. Those are people who want to do business with Ripple. So this injunction that you have is limiting them and actually disadvantaging Ripple against maybe other projects. And we think that's unfair. There's no victim here. Your injunction is actually hurting American enterprise, is hurting companies who want to use this technology on payment rails and things of that nature. Cite Congress bills, all that. Basically saying to a shift, hey, we got the digital assets wrong. You know, it was a new technology and we have evolved in our thinking and put all that together and then say to the judge, this is now in the public's best interest. Digital assets are part of our new system moving forward, and XRP is part of that. I think that's really what has to be done.
There you have it right there. And I've always felt like that decision about institutional sales from Judge Torres was really a placeholder decision to force the two parties to do exactly what they did, negotiate a settlement. And I think that's where we are. And to go to John Deaton's point and Stuart Alderati, this is procedural right here. I don't think she's going to dig her heels in politically. I think they have to go back and correct the procedure and then move forward, and it will all get resolved right about the time we're getting that legislation done for all of crypto. How about that one? Yeah, that's what I think. And speaking of all of crypto, coming back to Bitcoin, solid as a rock, says Egg Rag Crypto. He calls for $175,000 XRP or Bitcoin top. I would love it for cycle top for Bitcoin. It'd be great for XRP, and I believe one day maybe it could do it. But the reality is what I love that he did the day before was give us a chart in a range for where Bitcoin's price would be and what a possibility and potential price for XRP would be. So, how many times has he said that 175,000 region is the Bitcoin cycle top? And how many times have I pointed out that this cycle is a 10x extension of 2017, 2018? And he's pointed this out multiple times that we've talked about it. And that's why he says here, so a 10x move, he said XRP topped at $3.30. He says, so a 10x move suggests it could reach $33. That's why his conservative target of $27 is realistic based on 2017, 2018, 10 times theory. So I love where he's coming with that, but just to bring it down into there, here's the range where he had 175 and said there's three potential targets we could see for XRP price if Bitcoin tops at 175. He says that we could see potential targets of $12.60 plus, or $16.70 plus, or $24.83 range for XRP should Bitcoin cycle top at 175. These are all not guaranteed numbers, but it's just what he's seeing on the charts. And I love the way he breaks this down. I'm totally geeking out on this because sometimes it's easier for me. I don't know if you're this way too, but if I'm not holding something at the moment, it's much easier. Like if somebody says, oh, well, Ethereum's at 2,500. It's supposed to go to 10 grand. I'm like, I could see it going to anywhere between 6 to 10 grand. Sure, I could see that happen. That move is not hard to believe. And then somebody says, well, Bitcoin could go from 100 to 150, 175,000 in the next cycle. I'm like, yeah, I could totally see that, you know? And at times I hold all of those assets on and off. So the reality is for me is that when I look at other tokens, sometimes it's easier for me to see where they could go because I'm not so invested in it. And then when I look at the correlation between that price of another token and the one I'm actually worried and concerned about or looking forward to seeing how it does, this is exciting to me. So look, I definitely think double digits are in play. Whether we go $20 plus or not, I have no idea. Ultimately, I'm here for 3, 4, and 5 digit XRP prices, and I plan to be in the space until we see it happen because I believe what I've heard people from like Naveen Gupta from Ripple say. We're here to put a dent in the universe, right? We've heard Brad Garlinghouse say it and other people at Ripple. And I believe what they're doing and what they have done for so long now is absolutely poised and put them in a pole position to achieve such accomplishments, whether it's price appreciation or just what it means to me. The price appreciation is a byproduct of what I want to see happen, which is mass adoption, right? So for me, that's where this is. Seeing the price appreciation, obviously we all want that for our portfolios, but what it really signals to me is that we were correct in understanding this years ago of the full-scale intended use of the asset and the technology. And that's what matters most to me because price will take care of itself if you get the fundamentals right. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. Again, DeepState flare-up. They're exposed now, and we're going to get into it right now. You can join us. Come on in. Not financial advice from me or anyone else.